Her name might sound familiar to you. During one hot summer day a few years ago, a local cow named Wilhelmina decided to leave her home in search of greener pastures. Her story captured the hearts of many, and now she's gracing the pages of her very own children's book. John-Manuel Andriote, author of Wilhelmina Goes Wandering, joins us now on Connecticut Style. John, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I remember when this was in the news a while back. It was a top headline. I mean, this cow even had a Twitter account at one point. Tell me the story for our viewers who might not be familiar.
Sure. Well, in July of 2011, Wilhelmina, the Black Angus, ran away from her farm in Orange, right on the town line with Milford. And over the next 5 months, she was seen traveling with a herd of deer throughout Milford and Orange and even into West Haven. And finally, the animal control people tried to capture her twice. She broke away both times. They thought she was a bull because Black Angus bulls don't have horns. So they mistook her for a bull rather than a cow. But when she tried to break out the first time, they realized that he was a she. And so the cow they had been referring to as Waldo was now Wilhelmina.
Changed the name, right?
They changed the name, yeah.
We have some pictures that we're going to put up. It shows us the book. What made you think Wilhelmina needed her own storybook here?
Well, I was reading the story of Wilhelmina in the pages of the Norwich Bulletin, where I live in Norwich, Connecticut. And over the months that Wilhelmina was on the lam.
About 5 months it was, right?
5 months,
it was a
while. You know, I'd read these short accounts of this runaway cow who was seen around the area traveling with a herd of deer. And I just thought, this is a really unusual story. And so I started clipping these news articles, and it just jumped out at me that this would make a really interesting children's book about how these different types of animals came to be friends and travel together. And so I decided to write my first children's book about Wilhelmina.
Very good. And let's talk about the other characters in the book. Who are we going to meet?
Yeah, well, besides Wilhelmina, there's Daisy the doe, who is Wilhelmina's best friend, one of the deer. There's George Richards, who is the animal control officer for Milford and Orange. George Richards is actually a flip-flop of the real Milford and Orange animal control officer, Rick George.
Okay.
So George Richards. And then finally Betty, who is the very loving old Scottish lady farmer who Wilhelmina goes to live with at the end of the book.
I see.
Very
good. And talk to me about the illustrations. They also have a Connecticut connection here.
Katie Rundy, who is a really talented artist, was born in Connecticut. Her parents still live in Hartford, and Katie lives in South Royalton, Vermont. So she's an artist. She's a very talented musician, clarinetist, and saxophone player. And she's a dairy farmhand part-time as well. So she loves cows.
Sure. And where's Wilhelmina now?
Well, that's a state secret.
Oh, well.
Literally, the state of Connecticut, when Wilhelmina was rounded up, they relocated her to an animal sanctuary in Oxford, Connecticut. And to protect her from, you know, sort of gaping visitors, they literally have kept the location of that sanctuary a secret.
Very good. And lastly, I want to ask you about the elementary school in Milford.
Oh, yeah.
How fun is this?
It's really fun. On June 11th, the Calf Pen Meadow Elementary School in Milford, whose school mascot is a cow, is going to have an assembly where they officially name their mascot Wilhelmina.
That's great.
So they've adopted Wilhelmina as their cow, and I'm going to read the book there. Rick George, the now retired Milford and Orange animal control officer, will be there, and there'll be a teacher dressed as a cow.
It's going to be a fun day, right?
It'll be really
John,
fun.
Where can we find your book?
The book is available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, for libraries and bookstores. Ingram distributes it.
Very good.